Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? We are live from the James Kitchen and Bar, downtown Boise, right across the street from Albertson Stadium. We got Jay Tust, sports director over at KTVB, jumping on. And Jay, they open at 11 o'clock here, not quite open. They're getting the bar ready behind us, getting everything ready to go. But cool spot here at the James.
You must know what doormat they put the hide key on.
No comment. But really awesome spot. We'll be back here again for our pre and post game shows during football season out on the patio. A little warm today, though. We figured we'd come inside today, and nice spot inside as well. And as I said, they've got the what do they call this? Kind of the garage door that opens up, the double-sided bar. They got the patio, and then they literally have Albertson Stadium in the background. So awesome spot here at the James. We appreciate Barry and Perry and everybody for letting us come hang out. And again, they open at 11 o'clock, and they've got a full menu, happy hour, obviously in the afternoons as well. And it's a cool spot, man. They got the sandwich shop downstairs now, and then a full menu all day. Open at 11 every day. On Sundays, they open at 10. They've got brunch, and they got the TVs, man. This is I love coming to the James. It's just kind of that feel-good local spot to come have a couple drinks.
Yeah, no, it's I love this time of year. I mean, we've been over this before, but school starts Monday, right around the corner. The energy on campus is really going to start to pick up. I mean, the football team in fall camp already provides a little bit of it, but again, here in a few days, it's really going to start to feel like a college town once again.
Nate Staley says he's loving the in-person panel today. So, yeah, I like getting a chance to hang out with Jay once in a while. It doesn't happen very often, but everyone's excited for the show today. And
actually, I don't know if I've ever done it with you live on.
We've done this before. We've done it in hotel rooms in Sacramento, and
but not like out.
Well, and we you're usually a little busy pre and post game, but maybe for the 10 a.m. South Dakota game, we can get you to stop by the James post game or something. We'll figure it out. We do have a game we're working on for later in the season when Mike Sanford is going to come to Boise with the family. He hasn't been to a game on the Blue since the Mountain West Championship game in 2014, and he is now not coaching this year, and he is going to come back and hang out with us for a game and do the pre and post game shows. Get him and Riddle together on the post game here at the James. And don't know if you caught any of it last night, Jay, but awesome debut of Ball Talk with Sanford and Johnny. It was supposed to go an hour, and it was an hour and like 12 minutes, and they could have gone for a lot longer. It was an awesome. Mike Sanford, as you know, has so many connections, so many stories. Obviously very close with Bush Hamden still, so he has the Boise State connection. He told the story on last night's show about he was the host for Bush Hamden on his visit to Boise State, and Bush Hamden actually announced his commitment to his then girlfriend, now wife, Anne Marie, before they told the coaching staff that he was committing to Boise State. So they take some just a little piece, but they take a little bit of credit for Bush Hamden coming here and then ending up where he is now, back as the offensive coordinator.
Where would this offense be today without those guys?
There you go. So Yeah, someone said that sounds awkward. We've done it in hotel rooms. Yeah, maybe I didn't phrase that correctly, but
go. Come on, Bill.
That was in was that in Portland or that was in Sacramento? We had nowhere else to go, and we broadcasted the show there. But we know we're happy to be here, and again, thanks everybody at the James. But if you missed the show last night, go check it out. It's on YouTube, episode 1. John Mallory and Mike Sanford, and that is available on YouTube. They'll be doing that every Monday at 8 p.m. Moving forward, talking ball. And once the season gets going, I told them it's crazy to believe, but there's only one more week after this where you have to talk without games because you got 0 week, believe it or not. There are games in like 11 days going on. Now, we will be in Las Vegas as part of our deal with Circa. They're having a contest weekend down there. There's about radio stations and podcasts from all over the country coming in, and they're going to have all kinds of events going on. But I will be out at the Stadium Swim Pool for week 0. Watching Navy and Notre Dame. Not a lot of great games, but, week 0, you just want football.
Yeah, exactly. Week 0 is all about just watching football. It doesn't really matter who they put in front of you
and
when you're going to watch it.
And when you had a point spread involved, there's always a little bit of a drama involved in terms of that. So I think 3 or 4 Mountain West games next weekend in week 0. So looking forward to that down there next weekend in Las Vegas. So, we're inching closer, Jay. They were back in full pads again today out on the practice field. And a couple nice catches. Prince Strawn, you see that guy, and we've talked a lot about him, Jay, but when you actually get up close and see number 17 standing there, I don't know what they list him at, but he's every bit as tall, if not taller, than Talon Green. Yeah. And this dude, I know he's raw. I know he's a freshman. We got to try to temper the expectations. But I think this guy has a chance, man, whether it's this fall or whether it's in the next couple of years. Like, you just look at him and you think that's an NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, I think you look at him and another name that I know Bronco Nation is really excited about, but I think we need to temper expectations, Breezy Dubar. You look at those guys physically, and they don't necessarily look like they're freshmen, right? I think in another couple of years, once they get a little more seasoned, they're really going to be significant contributors to this Boise State football team. This year, anything they do would be a luxury. And it might show up, but I will say it's going to be a little while, but those guys, loads of potential, and they flash every now and then in practice big time.
Yeah, I thought he made a couple nice catches, and I thought Eric McAllister yet again continues to step up. And today,
EMAC's going to have a big role, man.
They were doing some one-on-one drills, man, and I think twice he won the one-on-one battle and went up and made a nice catch. We'll get some of that on social media a little later today, but that's another guy, man. Cool story, and you look at last year, kind of breaking onto the scene. But he's a guy that I think though does have really high expectations this year. So he's going to have a tough time, I think, living up to some of the hype.
Maybe, but in all honesty, I think that if they throw a few more balls his way, I think that. I mean, we're not talking about 1,000-yard season here,
sure,
but I think we're over 500 yards, and the only reason why is I don't know if he's going to be the most targeted receiver in the offense due to the fact, the position that he plays, the X, but he's certainly going to have a chance to make a lot of big plays. When you go back and look at what he did last season, average yards per time he was targeted was 24.5. For anybody with at least 15 targets in the country, Eric McAllister ranked number 1. That shows his big playability, and now he's growing. He wants to become a more complete wide receiver, and if he can do that, he's only a sophomore. He has a very, very bright future.
Well, another guy that I continue to hype up, and I thought he had another couple nights. I don't know if he's dropped the ball the entire fall camp that I've been out here watching him, is Austin Bolt. And he's a guy that, again, I think a lot of people forgot about. He wasn't even around in the spring. People were wondering if he was even still on the team.
Yeah.
What's his status? And then, I was eased into fall camp a little bit, but, we're not seeing all the team periods and things like that. But at least in the individual stuff, I don't know if I've seen Austin Bolt drop, and if it has, it's been like 1. I mean, the dude, it looks really, really good right now. We were told he still ran over 20 miles an hour again recently.
I don't know if people know how impressive that is, right? So I don't love the treadmill, right? I'd rather lift weights than run. But
we can tell. We can tell, man. I see how you're sitting there at that angle.
The other day, I just at the end of a run tried to crank the treadmill up to like 12 or 13 miles an hour. Feels like I was running 1,000 miles an hour. And then I put that in perspective. Austin's only 8-9 miles an hour above that at his top speed. I mean, that's insane. So he's going to have, there's significant competition. I think that's like one of my biggest takeaways is how much competition they've been able to create at that wide receiver position. I mean, you go back a couple of years ago, Austin's probably a starter, at this point in time in his career. And right now he's going to be fighting to find playing time. And I do mean he will be fighting to find playing time, but his skill set is certainly intriguing. You talk about height, length, speed. He is a unique combination. We'll see if it can all come together and if he can be a part of this Boise State offense.
Jacob's asking who the starting wide receivers are going to be. Cobbs, Emack. I mean, don't forget you got Billy Bowens.
Yep. I think that's your starting. That's your starting trio right there. And I'm going to say, do not sleep on Steph Cobbs this year. I know that he had this really nice season 2 years ago before it was cut short due to an injury. Made a couple big plays. I think that was a UTEP game where he housed a punt return, and then coming back the other way, Hank Bachmeier hit him with a quick slant, and it was off to the races. Nobody was going to catch him. Bush Hamden gave us a little bit of insight yesterday, and if you really listened closely, I think you can understand what's going on. But we were talking about Steph Cobbs, and he mentioned how when those receivers play in the slot, they don't get a chance to get out towards the sidelines that much or pushed out of bounds, so they have a chance to pick up more yards after the catch. Latrell Caples is out for the season, and he was their best yak guy last season. Who's going to fill that role? Well, talking about Steph Cobbs yesterday, he did kind of mention at one point Steph Cobbs in the same breath of those slot receivers. So it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize him in this offense this year. But if he truly is playing the slot, then he's going to get a lot more looks this season and a lot more targets. And I'm excited to see what he can do with it, because just at practice, my initial take on Steph Cobbs, he looks as good as ever, man. He's confident, he's quick, he's fast. His teammates continuously praise what's between the ears. Taylor Green yesterday said that he's one of the smartest offensive players that they have. He knows all the wide receiver positions. He knows where he's supposed to be. And so I say, don't sleep on Steph Cobbs this year, potentially leading the team in receptions.
Well, again, that's just like 4 or 5 guys we've named. And that's even without Latrell Caples. This wide receiver group, man, I know we've talked about it, but now seeing it in action, seeing them out there on the field, that's not even talking about like a Chase Penry.
It's not even talking about we can throw Ashton Genty into this mix, because that's been a huge storyline of how they want to utilize him as a wide receiver at times.
It's
another guy that would be more in the slot too, probably, or working him out of the backfield. But yeah, they've got some guys. You're right, man. We didn't even mention a guy like Chase Penry, who he has experience. He played at Colorado as a freshman. I think he had something like 11 catches or somewhere in that ballpark.
Mike Sanford talked pretty highly about him when he came on.
There's some significant options there for this Boise State offense at that wide receiver position.
Hey, rowpaint.com, check them out. 1-day install, 5 times stronger than epoxy. You heard Coach Leon Rice talking about it. Row Paint came out and did his garage, and he's very happy with it. And they can put down that nice concrete coating on any of your old concrete slabs, whether it's your back porch or patio. Check them out, roepaint.com, and they will come give you a free estimate and talk you through the process. Lithia Ford of Boise as well. The fall kickoff sale is underway. Do what the Raines family did. Go purchase a vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise. Jay, they are trying to promote. They now have in stock several of the new F-150 Lightnings. They are the all-electric F-150s, and Jay doesn't know this yet, but in the next couple of weeks, because it's right by your house, one of the Tuesday, Friday shows, we will be actually broadcasting from the inside of an F-150 Lightning for an upcoming show, and we will be powered. They have power outlets, all that stuff, fully by an electric vehicle. And it's going to be pretty cool what we're doing there. So Lithia Ford of Boise, check them out if you're looking for a electric vehicle. They got the all-electric F-150 Lightnings, and I highly recommend the folks out at Lithia Ford. Idaho Central Credit Union bringing you tonight episode 2, and we're going to play a clip in just a second to help preview it, but not episode 2, episode 4 or 5, but the 2 main folks, Jay, Taylor Green and Tyson Degenhart, a one-on-one conversation. It was really cool. We're very appreciative that it happened, but it's brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union. 8 o'clock tonight is Taylor Green coming on the Tyson Degenhart show. We taped the interview yesterday. It was awesome, so check it out. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. And if you need some new gear, the blueandorange.store.com. Check them out as well. Free shipping, any order over $40 there at the Blue and Orange store. And if you're in the Boise area, you can just check right there on the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. It's pretty cool there. And what they're doing for us at the Blue and Orange store, they upped their sponsorship deal when they heard we had a chance to hire Mike Prater. So Mike Prater writing, if you don't like him, maybe you don't want to go to the Blue and Orange store. But if you like what you're hearing from reading from Mike Prater, we appreciate him. It is solely in part because of what they're doing at the Blue and Orange store to help pay for that. So we had Tyson Degenhart interview Taylor Green yesterday on the show, and I'm trying to find the clip that I want to show. It's about his first start, and Tyson clip 1. Where are we at here? Here it is. It was about both of them making their first starts, and pretty cool when you think about both coming in as freshmen, Jay, both not right away being starters, but having high expectations, and then both of them taking over, fairly early in their freshman years as starters. And they had a cool chat about that, and this is going to be on tonight's show, but here's a sneak preview.
My parents, they helped a lot because I would tell them like I was a little nervous, and just talking to them, like, just being away from home, and your first game, you was probably nervous and stuff. So just having that person, having that the family that you can just rely on is definitely comforted me a lot.
Yeah, because like when I found out I was starting against St. Louis, I was in class and Coach Barch texted me. It's like, hey, we got a meeting with Coach before practice, and I'm like, did I do something wrong? Like, am I getting kicked off the team? Like, I didn't know, because my first thing goes to worst situation possible. And we had the meeting, and Coach Rice told me I was starting, and I was like, I didn't know what to say. Like, I was just like, all right. And I'm glad they did it the day before the game, and so that I got a day of reps with the first team, and just getting used to that. And then the only person I told was my sister, because I didn't want to tell my parents, because they would have asked me a million questions. I would have gotten a million texts from my aunts, uncles, cousins, grandmas, like everything. And so the only thing I told her is like, just make sure mom and dad are watching the game. And then I think my mom found out through Twitter. It's like, welcome to the starting lineup, Mr. Degenhart. And she probably just went texting left and right, Facebook friends here and there. And it worked out. We did end up losing, but that first game, you just kind of get all the jitters out.
You do.
We're obviously in the same spot, like coming in and not knowing what to do, really. You just kind of get tossed in the fire, and you just try to make a play. And then now that you're starting, you can kind of get into a rhythm. And once, as the season gone on, you found a rhythm pretty well, right?
Yep, thank you. Yeah, definitely, for sure.
We'll keep you waiting. Now we could play that the whole episode if we wanted to, but we'll keep you waiting for more, Jay. The Tyson Degenhart Show tonight, 8 p.m. Talon Green is his special guest, and super excited about that. But it is interesting, Jay. Obviously, they have very similar kind of arcs to this point in their careers, and I would say probably the two biggest faces right now in Boise State athletics.
Yeah, I mean, you probably even remove arguably from that. When Tyson came in, as a freshman and starting for the Boise State men's basketball team, that was a time where they were only 3-3 out of the gate. They went 24-5 the rest of the way, won the won the Mountain West Championship, and then went to the NCAA tournament. And then, so you look at his what is that, an 83 winning percentage or an 830 winning percentage?
I was wondering what your Jay's over here on the middle of the interview, just getting out a calculator on his phone. I mean, that's pretty standard for Jay, but I was curious what you were looking at.
So then Taylor comes in, he wins 8 out of 10 games, and that's an 800 winning percentage. I mean, so there's some similar success there with both those guys stepping into significant roles as freshmen.
No doubt about it. So, again, 8 p.m. tonight. Check it out, the Tyson Degenhart Show. Full interview, almost 30 minutes of Talon Green and Tyson Degenhart just sitting there shooting the breeze, talking about being athletes at Boise State. They both talked about their recruitment. We all know part of Talon's story where it was during COVID and couldn't do the visit and had to wave at the coaches through the window. It's pretty crazy, but very appreciative and thankful Mike Walsh and Patrick Walsh and Alex and everybody over at Boise State, Lou Major, for helping make that happen. Pretty cool in the middle of fall camp that we were able to get Tyson and Talon just to sit down in the recruiting lounge up there and talk. And so that'll be thanks to ICCU, and that'll be on tonight's episode, again, 8 p.m. of the Tyson Degenhart Show on ICCU.
We had the chance to talk with Talon a little bit yesterday, too. And
what stood out to you?
I think that Tyson's conversation is going to be a little more it's just going to be a little different than the one that we had with Talon yesterday, but just finding out where they're at right now in this offense. And we got a little bit in depth, I'd say, with both Talon and Bush Hamden, for that matter, the offensive coordinator, and what they want out of Talon in this offense. And there's certainly a framework that Bush wants Talon to operate within, but also Bush is really adamant that Talon just doesn't become a robot. He's not always just going to do what the play says he needs to do. There are times where they want him to improvise and take advantage of his athletic ability. And I think more than anything that probably instills confidence into Talon Green, because at points in time last year, it was so funny, like we're kind of guilty of this too in the media here, BJ, but when he runs too much, the questions are, oh man, can he throw? And then when he throws too much, like you look at like the Utah State game where he threw 4 touchdowns, but up until he had that 91-yard breakaway touchdown run, he didn't do much with his legs. And it's like, well, why isn't he taking advantage of his legs, you know? So it's really kind of funny. Like the narratives can be too extreme at times with Talon, but just to hear what they want out of him right now in this offense, it certainly is to operate and do what they want, you know, Bush Hamden's offense to look like, but still, They do not want to limit, you know, what Talon Green can do when he does have that moment, that opportunity to improvise.
What do you make of what they're saying or what you're seeing from the O-line? Because as Vlad says, O-line needs to perform this year. It's been a while since had a dominant line, and obviously Talon. You know, someone else had a comment, obviously needing some time in the pocket, stay in the pocket to find some of these receivers. So the O-line, all that kind of goes hand in hand with Talon and the receivers this year.
You know, something I was thinking about with the offensive line the other day, and I don't know if they would ever get too in-depth about this if you actually asked them about it, but they decided to keep Cade Beresford at the right tackle position.
Yeah,
right?
Which did surprise some people, including me.
It kind of did, because now they're going to start a pretty young guy in Cage Casey at that left tackle spot. I mean, that is a position that a lot of wealthy Boise State alumni have played, you know, during their respective careers. And you know that there is that I would almost call it Talon's patented move at this point in time, where he feels pressure off his backside really, really well. And he has that ability when he steps up in the pocket. He loves to spin out and turn his back to the defense, for that matter, and then get out the backside. And I don't know. I just wonder for him, as he tries to develop in the pocket, with having great feel for what's going on behind him and liking, you know, when he has that ability to do that, whether it be throwing or across his body or running. Maybe it is more important for him just to have that stability, you know, right in front of him where he can see it. I don't know if they would ever go that far in depth about why they made that decision, but I just think there's more to it than Cade Beresford was outstanding last season. So let's just put him back there this season, especially when you consider how you know, important that left tackle position is.
And today, after practice, we're actually going to talk to one of the offensive linemen, Ben Dooley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a guy that, BJ, for me, when we're putting together our All Mountain West ballots, I put Ben Dooley on my All Mountain West ballot. I think that he's kind of a guy that on that offensive line is.
Was he second team 2 years ago?
I think he was second team 2 years ago. Went through tons of injuries last year. Not even, I don't want to say tons of injuries. He just went through a bad circumstance, I would say, last year when it came to his health.
Of the season.
Yeah, he missed a huge chunk of the season. Got back really late in the year at Nevada, which, you know, he had a bunch of family there because he's from that area. And, you know, so I just think that that's a guy that's almost a little bit of a sleeper on this offensive line. But I know we said it before, BJ, but I really feel like this is the year, man, with that offensive line. Cade Beresford, a sixth-year senior at right tackle. Garrett Curran at that left guard spot, a sixth-year senior. They still got to kind of figure out what's going on at center. We've heard that Mason Randolph is, you know, a guy that could be the starting center there. We'll just have to wait and see how that position plays out. And then, you know, you have it at that right guard position, Ben Dooley. They just got a lot of good pieces on that offensive line right now. A ton of experience.
Garrett Curran and Ben Dooley, two like fifth, sixth-year guys at your guard spots. I mean, you're not going to find a better tandem of guards, or not many at least, anywhere near Boise.
And that's, I mean, I'm not even trying to think of what Ben Dooley technically is right now. I think he's a redshirt junior, maybe.
Okay,
but you know, he had a chance to medically redshirt last year, but he said, you know what, he just wanted to get back on the field. And the reason he had the luxury of doing that is he still has his COVID year that he could utilize down the road.
But this is it for Curran, I believe. This is
done. This is done. Garrett is done after this. Yes. Yeah. So I just think that they got a lot of experience up there. And this seems like it's the year that it comes together. I think Tim Keene has done an excellent job. He took some big time heat early in his career, but after a certain position change or on the coaching staff was made last year, I gotta say, man, the offensive line looked pretty darn good. For one reason or the other, that helped. And I think that Tim Keene's doing a heck of a job this year. He's a guy on the coaching staff that, man, I feel like I could be setting myself up here for for some feedback after the season opener here, BJ. But I feel like he's done an excellent job and probably doesn't get enough praise at this point.
Yeah, he's a guy that came over. A lot of people thought just because of Plow and thought he might leave when Plow left, and he obviously has stayed and done a really nice job. So we're going to talk to Ben Dooley after practice. We're also going to talk to Michael Callahan after practice. Two of the linemen and the defensive line was a spot that in the scrimmage on Saturday, Andy Avalos went out of his way numerous times to say that. I think that's the one position on the team a lot of people are worried about. But it sounds like the defensive line, and I do want to talk conference realignment, so I don't want to go too deep into this, but we got about 5 minutes left. I do want to say that Andy Avalos had big praise for the defensive line in the scrimmage.
I'm just going to – I'll be quick with this. I was talking to what's that guy's name? He just got a new job. Jordan? Is it Jordan?
Jordan K.
Yeah.
He works for the top outlet in town, I think, besides KTVB, of course.
No, I'm just kidding. We were having coffee between practice the other day, and it's so funny because we write all these articles and we edit all these stories and we do all this stuff. But man, I really feel like the success and the failure of this Boise State football team it is so easily identifiable right now. And the two things are: will Taylon Green even remotely live up to the hype? And if he does, that's going to be huge. And the other thing is this defensive line. Can they prove that there's not going to be a significant drop-off from the guys that they lost last year? Jackson Craven's transferring out, going to BYU. You could probably rope Isaiah Banya in there. You look at Isaiah, man, that guy would have been an absolute key piece on this Boise State defense had he returned this year. Obviously, Scott Matlock goes on and gets drafted into the NFL. So it really just comes down to, can Taylon live up to the hype in any way, shape, or form, and can this defensive line perform? And if those two things happen, the sky is the absolute limit given the other knowns for this Boise State football team.
Hey, let's finish up and talk a little conference realignment in just a second. But first, someone commented that I'm looking good due to the Lean Feast. Appreciate that. Leanfeast.com/Meridian. Healthy eating meal prep service. Check them out. Leanfeast.com/Meridian. They're right there in Meridian on Eagle Road, and you stick there next to the Five Guys if you want to go check them out in person, or you can order online. Fully customizable. You pick how much you want, what you want, and it's good for 5 days, 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're rolling with steak and shrimp and great healthy food. Check them out, Lean Feast. They're now feeding the football team, the basketball team, you name it, and hope you jump on soon. Leanfeast.com/Meridian. Ridley's Family Markets, 13 locations. Check them out across the state of Idaho and surrounding states, the Treasure Valley, several locations as well, and I love that Cuno location. So download the smart app on your phone. Ridley's Family Markets, shop ridleys.com. You need business insurance? United Commercial Insurance, 229-8222. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Check them out. Quick call could save you hundreds of dollars on your business insurance at unitedcommercialinsurance.com. I am heading on Thursday to visit with Dr. Miner, get a regularly scheduled cleaning on Thursday. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Full family dentistry to make it an enjoyable experience to go to the dentist. Check them out. 5 locations across the Treasure Valley. BoiseDentistryCo.com. And if you need a job, Jay, which I know you don't, but transcomservice.com, get into the trucking industry. And man, it's booming right now coming off the pandemic. So check them out, transcomservice.com. They can help you with the permits and all the things you need every step of the way to get you that new job in no time. And as I said, I'll be a week from tomorrow. I'm heading down to Las Vegas. Circa Sports is doing their contest again, $8 million guaranteed in the Survivor contest, winner take all, and then the pick 5 games against the spread for Circa Millions. That's a big one as well. So $6 million guaranteed in that one. And if they go over the prize pool, there's no rake. All the money goes into the prize pool. So check them out. Circa Sports, Circa Resort and Casino. We'll be broadcasting Thursday and Friday's shows live from Circa next week as we get you set for 0 week. And again, you have to sign up in Las Vegas for the contest, or in the state of Nevada, actually. They have a new sports book there in Reno as part of Circa Sports. But you can play from anywhere with proxies. So let us know at Bronco Nation News if you're interested. And we got some folks who maybe want to all pull together a couple $100 and get an entry. And we can sign you up next week while you're down there. So Circa Sports and Circa Resort and Casino. Jay, we got a final couple minutes. We got great viewership again. All I got to do is put a conference realignment in the in the title or in the thing, and people just are Googling or searching on YouTube, and it pops up. And so we're approaching record viewership again, and we really appreciate all you guys that have checked us out. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe on YouTube. Turn on your notifications so whenever we have a live broadcast talking Boise State, Mountain West, whatever, you'll know first that we're live. So again, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. Just takes a couple seconds. And if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, go on over to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. So you click subscribe to us, and then you probably already do. But if not, go subscribe to the KTVB YouTube channel as well. But Jay, nothing crazy new in terms of what we've heard, but there is this growing thought that the American and the Pac-12, Oliver Luck getting involved with Mike Oresco, and nothing concrete, from in terms of anything, but there is at least a little building social media thought that there might be an option there for the AAC and the Pac-12 to come together. Maybe some Mountain West teams are pulled into that. I don't know, but what's just your current? It's been kind of quiet the last couple of days, so something's brewing behind the scenes.
When it's too quiet with realignment, it's never a good thing.
And we could be right now. I could have missed a tweet, or it could happen at some point today. But,
I thought you were going to drop some surprise on me about that, because I have not been on social media at all today. Today was the first day of school for my little girl, so I was kind of sidetracked with that this morning. So
we'll be there tomorrow. That's cool, by the way.
I'm glad that the Mountain West hasn't dissolved or something.
No, but it's almost been too quiet. It wouldn't shock me if something happened today or tomorrow. I mean, the next couple of days, something you think has to move on this. I know that the lot has been waiting on what Stanford's going to decide to do. They're kind of holding all this up, but it sounds like, I don't know why, and somebody had commented, like, is cross-country travel for the Olympic sports really sustainable or necessary? But it sounds like the Pac-4 would maybe be enticed by the AAC more than the Mountain West.
Yeah, I know at my alma mater, Washington State, they just formed a committee. They announced it yesterday, and it's an eclectic group of brains on campus, most involved in one way, shape, or form with athletics, obviously, but it's a big decision for them, and I know that Washington State and probably Oregon State, for that matter, are hurting. I mean, we don't need to go down this too far once again, because we talked about it before. The financial situation for those universities following the conclusion of next football season is going to be dire, because they're going to lose a massive amount of TV revenue, regardless of what conference they go to, unless there is some crazy miracle that they get into a Big 12 or one of the bigger conferences, but that's just not happening. That's just not a realistic thing. So yeah, I mean, once again, you're right. The players in this right now are Cal and mainly Stanford, and once that domino falls, I think you're going to see Oregon State and Washington State fall in line. I think for anything in the AAC to be realistic, BJ, I think that Oregon State and Washington State need at least a couple of partners this far out west in Cal and Stanford, because if they lose those schools and it's just Oregon State and it's just Washington State out here, a couple $1 million additional in TV money is not going to be enough to offset travel costs or make it worth putting their student athletes through that stress of traveling. It feels so silly to call them student athletes anymore, and I know it's not an indictment on them. It's what's going on with realignment in these universities. It's just, now that there's NIL, it feels like everybody else. It just feels like a free for all to turn everything into a business, and it is a business now. They're not emphasizing the student part of this at all when you're asking athletes from USC to travel out to Rutgers to play volleyball or whatever it might be. They're just athletes now, and that it is what it is.
So, I mean, like our friend Mark Moss on Twitter and a lot of these guys, some of the more pessimistic, I think, Boise State fans love you, Mark, but I get it. Some fans just always go towards the doomsday scenario, the worst case scenario. And I guess the worst case scenario is Mountain West just staying at the same 12 and nothing happening at this point. I mean, I guess the worst case scenario is San Diego State and some other teams get asked to leave, and Boise State's not included in that. But do you see any scenario, though, where
here's the deal,
at least 4 teams from the Mountain West leave, and one of them would not be Boise State?
I don't see that scenario.
There's a fly, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. I don't see that scenario, but here's the deal. You just mentioned the doomsday scenario. What does that really change for Boise State? I don't know what it changes for Boise State, because either way, they stay in the Mountain West Conference. They still get their additional TV revenue.
Yeah, but if San Diego State and some of these teams leave in the Mountain West, all of a sudden is
it might hurt some feelings, but really it does not change Boise State's key objective of winning the Mountain West, being the highest ranked team out of the group of 5, and potentially going and playing in a college football championship. If anything, hell, depending on where San Diego State or somebody would go, it might even make life a little bit easier. So I mean, I get some feelings might be hurt. I understand that. But at the end of the day, I really don't know how much it changes when it comes to Boise State. They still are going to get more money than any other team in the conference by staying in the league. You swap out San Diego State for, North Dakota State. I don't know who it would be, but the Mountain West, they'll be prepared to go after a couple FCS teams or somebody else to balance out the league once again. There will be hurt feelings, but I just don't really feel like even the worst case scenario that you just mentioned, I don't feel like it changes a ton for Boise State in their big picture.
Well, we have added over 300 YouTube subscribers in the last 28 days, and we are 11 away, Jay, from hitting 3,000. So we are 11 YouTube subscribers away from 3,000.
You want me to go create 11 accounts?
If you could, that'd be great. Which I know may not sound like a lot, but that is for us starting up from zero,
good job, bud.
getting over 3,000, I think is a big deal.
Yeah.
So we're 11 away.
Football season's
help
just here.
us get to 3,000. Hit subscribe in the bottom corner of the screen there. We're over 100,000 when you talk about our full social media following with Facebook. Instagram, Twitter are all much larger accounts. We started the YouTube account last, and so it's the slowest to take off, but it really has taken off here the last month or so. As I said, we've added 300 in the last 28 days, and it's only going to continue here as we move forward. So, Jay, appreciate it. We appreciate the James for having us hang out. He even brought us a nice ice-cold glass of water, so we appreciate the hospitality at the James. They'll be opening in 8 minutes. Come check them out. Full menu, perfect spot for lunch. They got the sandwich shop downstairs, but the full menu every day at 11. They got the covered patio. Was here on Sunday afternoon, actually, for a couple hours, just enjoying a couple beverages, and saw Kent Riddle over here on Sunday. It's kind of, you can probably expect to see Kent in the corner of the bar at the James more often than not. So if you want to see some folks, and just have a good time and hang out, the James is the spot. And again, they're open late. They got happy hour. They got great drinks. The old fashioned, the James is one of my favorites. So come check them out. And again, we will be here pregame, postgame this fall for football season. Looking forward to that. So, again, thanks to great viewership today. Thanks to all the comments. Sorry if we didn't get a chance to put them down. And also thank you and an official welcome to Gabby Cox, our new intern for the fall. She's hiding behind the camera. We'll get her on here at some point shortly. You can meet her, but she's a student at Boise State in communications, wants to get into the field. So today's kind of her orientation day, and she's seeing how not that much fun it is to sit around and wait for interviews and watch practice and stuff. But we appreciate her for jumping on board, helping out. So we're adding to the team with our intern, associate reporter, however we want to phrase it moving forward. So be on the lookout for some increased social media presence thanks to Gabby, because she actually, unlike me, knows how to do the social media stuff. So we're excited about that. But have a great rest of your day. We appreciate it. We'll have Michael Callahan, Ben Dooley talking to the media. We'll get those interviews up this afternoon. And then we hope to see you tonight, 8 p.m. tonight for the Tyson Degenhart Show. Don't forget, special guest Taylon Green. So come back at 8 p.m. tonight and listen to Tyson Degenhart Show, Taylon Green, 30-minute conversation with the two GOATs right now on Boise State's campus. So pretty cool.
Or if the Seattle Mariners make the playoffs, Tyson and I are doing a postseason special on the end.
Let's do it. Tyson can bring on whatever guest he wants on the Tyson Degenhart Show. So if you want to come on the Tyson Degenhart Show and be the guest, we can. We'll tell Burns and Duryea they got to push back another week, and we'll bring you on.
If the Mariners actually make the playoffs,
how far back are they right now?
Well, they were a half game out in the wild card, but they just lost 3 heartbreaking games in a row. So they got pushed a little further back. But hey, we're still in the fight. I've always said,
let's go Mariners. Come on.
My whole thing with the M's, make it interesting till football season, and they've done that for 2 straight
They just played
years.
the Orioles, right? My kids, because they YouTube and video games and stuff. My kids have become Julio Rodriguez fans.
Oh, let's go.
So we were flipping, and that was like the game of the week on Fox or whatever on Saturday or one of the channels. And so went extra innings. And this is all you need to know as we wrap this up. They had to go to bed, or they did something. I think it was an evening game, or it was something where it was extra innings on one of the days. And I ended up telling my son that I would tape the game for him. I wake up and I go downstairs, and both my kids are on the couch at 7:30 in the morning, or whatever, watching the 10th inning.
That would warm my heart.
Of the Mariners game to see if they won.
Would know I'm doing my job as a dad.
I felt really bad because it was the game that they lost 1-0. Yeah. There was 2 outs already, and there was a tying run on second base. And I just said, I'm not sure you guys want to keep watching. And then the Felix Bautista struck the dude out, and they lost. And I felt bad. Like nothing worse than waiting, watching a game on tape the next day, and then it doesn't go your way.
I don't care. I love that, man. That's awesome that they got
Uncle Jay, hook them up with some Julio Rodriguez stuff. Somebody's saying they'll wear it, man. They'll wear it. Let's go.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it, Jay. Thanks as always, man, for stopping by the James. We're gonna head over and get our interviews, and again, we'll get those posted to the YouTube channel. We need 11 more subscribers. Help us get to 3,000 on the YouTube channel. Thanks to Perry Barry, everybody over at the James. We appreciate it. Awesome time here. Really appreciate it. I wish I could stay and have a couple drinks. I actually have to go back to work. That's disappointing, but we'll see you at the James soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bronco Nation News live here at BroncoNationNews.com.